Hello everyone, this is Tamara, your courtroom companion. Have you found yourself in a place of having to represent yourself in court, either by financial circumstances or some other circumstance where you now need to go to court and represent yourself? Well, in today's video, I'm going to share with you 4 things that you need to know before you go into the courtroom to represent yourself. So stay tuned for those 4 things. Welcome to my channel. This is where we talk about family court, narcissism, and custody. So if you're interested in those 3 topics, this is the channel for you. And as always, please do hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you'll be notified when I upload my content. And also, please do read my disclaimer below. Nothing I say here should be taken as any kind of professional advice. Also, if my content on my channel or this video resonates with you and you'd like to have one-on-one coaching, please do see a link below in my description box for a discovery call where you can figure out if working one-on-one with a coach is right for you. So going to court can be scary, even if you have an attorney, but let alone if you don't have one. It can be a very daunting and scary thing to walk into court alone. If you're watching this video, you are likely in that circumstance where you're representing yourself, or you are maybe a loved one who is, morally supporting someone who's in this position of going to court alone. Before I share with you what these 4 things are that you need to know before going into court, I want you to know that I represented myself in court for a period of about 18 months out of an 8-year period. And what I learned through those 8 years, but primarily through those 18 months, was a lot of information that I wish I had known before I got started. And it is the reason why I started this channel, Courtroom Companions. And so I've made a lot of videos on how to represent yourself in court. So do check them out. I have tons of videos out there for you. So this is my passion. What I share here is actually coming from a place of personal experience, and I have a desire to help other people who are in that same circumstance. Either if you're going alone, there are videos here for you. But if you are, if you have an attorney, there are videos there to help you get ready to even go into court with an attorney. So what are those 4 things that you need to know? Well, first, you have to have a solid understanding of what the other side or the other party is going to say in court. You will get this information through the discovery process. And I'm going to link a couple of videos above on the discovery process. One is how to write interrogatories, and one is how to request production of documents and how to produce a production of documents. So through that process, you will learn a lot of information about the other party and what they're going to say, what their case is going to be about. And you need to study that material as if you're like taking the SAT or the LSAT or any other major exam. You need to study it backwards and forwards. You need to know what they're going to say so that you know how to prepare for your response in court. I can't tell you everything here in this video on what to do to prepare for court, but I will link those videos here for you to learn about the discovery process. But again, check out my other videos on how to go into court that are on my channel. But you just have to know what that other side is going to say so you know how to prepare. So that's number 1, is know what the other side is going to present. Number 2 is how do you physically present yourself in court? And so you have to dress the part. You have to dress like you're going to an interview. And if you don't have clothes like that, like a suit or something like that, try to borrow from a friend or go to a thrift store. There's tons of really great things in thrift stores that are for pennies on the dollar. Do find something appropriate to wear to court. And if your court case is going to stretch across multiple days, maybe you can get, a couple different blouses or a couple different, suit jackets and just interchange. So you don't have to buy a whole outfit for every day, but just pieces of an outfit that you can kind of interchange and it'll look like a new outfit, because you want to present yourself as though you're going for an interview. Also, when you're physically presenting yourself in court, you want to make sure that you are not arguing with the other side. You're not responding when you're not supposed to. And if the judge calls on you, you're speaking to the judge. You're not supposed to talk directly to the other side. If you don't have an attorney, you're supposed to talk to the judge or things like that. So you have to sort of know the proper etiquette in court. And here's a tip when you're presenting yourself in court, when you're answering questions. You'll want to practice answering those questions that you think are going to be difficult or that you're going to have trouble with. Perhaps it's, answers to questions that maybe, you're not proud of past behavior, for example. You'll want to practice how you're going to say your responses before you go into court. And I'll link a video above and below on how to testify in court. I kind of go over some strategies on how you can best testify. But one of the things you need to do is definitely practice how you're going to respond to questions and how you're going to present information. If you have a difficult case, if you're going to be asking the other party questions about something difficult, perhaps there's abuse involved, you'll want to know how you're going to ask those questions. So practice before you go in. Also, when you're physically in court, this is all part of physically presenting yourself in court, listen carefully to what is being said. Don't appear to not be interested if the other side is testifying. Maybe it's things that are hard to hear because it's lying or they're misrepresenting you in some way. Don't be making all kinds of faces. Just listen. Try to be like poker face. Don't show any emotion. Just poker face and, jot everything down. I also have a video on how to take notes in court. I'll link that above too. I think that might be helpful for you. So again, physically presenting yourself in court, that means speaking when spoken to, not speaking when you're not supposed to, physically dressing the part, just being professional at all times. And number 3 is know the laws and rules in your state. Now, you don't have to know every law and every rule in family court. You just have to know the ones that are relevant to your case. So if there's property to be distributed, you should know the property laws. If there's alimony or child support, you should know the laws in your state for those particular topics. If you're going to court something against your neighbor or something like that, and it's over property lines or something like that, you'll want to know those laws. So again, you don't have to know every law, just the ones that are relevant to your case. And I'm going to link another video on free resources. If you're representing your court, there's a lot of free resources out there, and I've culminated a lot of them into a video, and I'll link that above. I have a lot of videos to link in this particular video, but I think it'll be helpful for you to know what free resources might be available to you. And lastly, you need to know the vocabulary that is going to be used in court. There's a lot of legal jargon thrown around in the courtroom, and you'll want to know what the language will be or the legal terms are going to be, or else you'll be lost. And a simple Google search can help you learn, what kind of vocabulary is used in the courtroom. You can also check out free books at the library on courtroom jargon as well. Some of the terms that are thrown around in court are things like jurisdiction, judgment, motion to enforce, motion for contempt, bait stamping. Bait stamping was one that, was used so often in my case because every document and every piece of evidence is bait stamped. It literally specifies the time and date that a particular piece of evidence was received and processed by the other side. You'll want to know vocabulary like child support guidelines and alimony, and you'll want to know the applicable laws in your state around those as well. Other terms that are used are things like pro se litigant, pendente lite. All of these terms could be used in your court case, and you'll want to know what those are before you go into court. So those are the 4 things that you'll want to know before going into court. I'm sure there are other things, but those are 4 main ones that you'll want to know before going into court. I hope you found this information helpful, and as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.